We know we love sports, but at the same time, this is a genre which is going up over time. Obviously, TV dominates the media spends, 26,000, 25,000 odd crores. That's a rough number that people are spending on television, which obviously tells you that TV is the biggest dominant medium today, and it's obviously growing. With that, I would request some of my other colleagues in the hall here to come and speak more about the subject. Kubra, yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for the panel, I'm going to request sir to obviously take his seat, but I'm going to come up and speak to someone really, really special. Hello, how are you? Miss Maika Tata. Ma'am, we've been speaking about empowering women, diversification, diversity, and I know you spearhead the project in this new initiative called the Mentorship Program. Could you share a little bit about that with us, please?
So maybe I want to stand, okay. So yeah, as it was shared earlier, that IAA has initiated a mentorship program called under the aegis of IAA Mentorship Program for Women for the Marcom industry. We've had a fantastic response from across the industry, and we have, of the multiple applications we received, we shortlisted about 23 women, and 23 mentees have been identified with 23 mentors. We've had a amazing response from the industry. Even the mentors who have come on board are just going all out to support this. This is a one-on-one mentorship program wherein each mentee and mentor will get 4 sessions the next 6 to 7 months. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for women to spend that quality time with the movers and shakers of our industry, and with such beautiful, such rich experience actually, which they are getting an opportunity to interact with. So we're overwhelmed with the response, and we thank everyone who supported this. This is our phase 1. So it's the first time this has been initiated by IAA. We will continue to do this in the next few phases, and we will be reaching out to all of you in our second phase. So thank you once again for the support so far.
I have a question personally, but do we also have mentors for women? No, do we also have mentors for women?
Oh yes, absolutely. In fact, we do. But that was the whole premise of this program. When you look around, you see that there are fantastic women in our industry, but they reach up to some kind of a glass ceiling, and then they just disappear. And why are there not so many women at CXO levels in our industry is a question we all collectively need to answer. I'm not sure whether this program will really address that or answer these questions, but we believe this is definitely a step in the right direction to create an opportunity for such women to be able to understand and maybe answer some of those questions they themselves have and are pondering with, at what is the reason why they cannot move to that level. So all these women are in the 8 to 10 years of experience. They're in the mid-management level, and hopefully getting into leadership roles, and we hope that this particular program will help us do that. And hopefully, as a result of that, in the next phase, we will have more women mentors than the ratio currently.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Thank you very, very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to invite on stage our esteemed panel that is moderated by Partho Dasgupta, the Chief Executive Office, Broadcast Audience Research Council, India. And on our panel, we've got Mr. Sanjay Behel, Chief Executive Officer, Raymond Limited. Mr. Shashi Sinha, Chief Executive Officer, IPG Media Brands, India. Ms. Pratyusha Agarwal, Chief Marketing Officer, Z Enterprises Entertainment Limited. And now, as they say, let the talks begin. Thank you, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you.
Good. I'm audible? Yeah. Okay. So Thank you so much for all of you to be here. Sanjay, Pratyusha, Sashi, sir. quick ones, Sanjay, you have been an advertiser for long, and we were just chatting outside, and where do you see, I mean, I'm not getting into which medium versus other and all that, but where do you see TV going?
Okay, so I think before I start, I think the guidance is not to speak for more than 3 to 5 minutes. So we'll keep it short so that we can get into the awards. I want to say that. And I want to start with a T which is energizing me right now more, that the transport strike has just been called off, yeah, about half an hour back. So if you get me on the panel as a business person, it's obvious that that also will seize me at this point of time, because there are 4 days to go for the month, and then we're going to meet our targets, yeah? Coming back to television and the role of television now. Now, where I see you've shown some numbers which are indisputably, like some of those serials that are getting watched in India, or some of the properties are bigger than the European continent population, yeah? So, or 3 times the size of America, the way the people watch it. So, there is no debate on numbers. I think that's table stakes, and it settles a lot of stuff there. But what does marketeer really get seized with? It's fundamentally two questions, And then in context of media, it's a role of media to really answer those 2 questions, or for a marketeer to really evaluate in context of media those 2 questions. One is the brand positioning statement. Which medium helps me build my brand? And brand is all about who am I? And which medium helps me reach my proposition the most effective way to the customer, which means reach, register, and influence purchase, which is really the advertising proposition statement. So it's about BPS and APS in a marketing jargon. So who am I and why buy me? And in that context, you need to see the media. And television and other mediums need to be contextualized there. Now coming back again, and really looking at, in these 2 questions, what I feel is happening in the country is that people are, and brand managers and the entire community is actually, to some extent, taking an easy shortcut of moving to the second question of APS about influencing immediate purchase, rather than actually understanding how important and significant a role some mediums play in building brands. And it's only strong brands which make people actually, eventually, the cost of transaction comes down, the customer loyalty goes up, and is directly linked to a sustainable sales in short and long term. It may not necessarily be just the advertising proposition there. And hence they fall in deluge of numbers that are there in other mediums, especially digital, social, and hope that because the numbers are great, it'll do almost a similar job like television. But actually, you need to pick up horses for courses. And that's a fundamental deluge drop that we can have. Now let me just very quickly come to the filters a marketer typically uses, or we use when we look at mediums. Look, there are 4 or 5 fundamental metrics. First is reach, yeah? And in reach, you've already settled the debate. So I think there's no doubt, with 800 million people there, 200 million homes, you talk about 1 TVR, you're talking about 80 million, yeah? Oh, 8 million, yeah, and 2 TVRs is 16 million. Now, a Priya warrior can keep winking an eyelid or whatever she does. She reaches 1.5 million YouTube views, and she becomes a national news, and a 1 TVR gives you 8 million on television. Yeah. So one needs to really see this, the import of what TV brings into the table. 1 10-second ad on an IPL will give you 40 million views, or even Kaun Banega Crorepati, or even Nagin, 3.7 TVR, or Dance Diwane, 2.5 TVR. Now these are 10 times of what a Priya warrior wink or whatever did. What Rahul Gandhi got was to television more than what we could have got, yeah? So I think that settles it. So reach, there's no debate, and by reach it also comes cost effective. Let's go to the next ones, which are very important. The second one you look at really is, and I put a few numbers there just to be, then you look at saying how quickly, and there is always this marketer dilemma about, I want to build this reach quickly, and as the product life cycles are shortening, early adapters are becoming the profitable mass rather than the mature stage ones. A lot of advertising is today being directed to early adopters more than the mature stage. And as a marketer directs that advertising, speed of quickly building up awareness of your product before others catch up is itself an imperative. And television gives you, within that 30 seconds, 25 million people, if you decide to really invest on that. Now, which digital or any other medium would give you with the kind of receptivity, the quality, 30 million viewership within no time? So I think instantaneousness, time moderation, I think all these are in control of a marketer. Third is intensity. And when I say intensity, it's about saying how many times I want my brand to get, or proposition to get exposed to a user. And it's a critical point where to understand the difference between specifically digital and television. Television is a broadcast medium. And digital is a pull medium. In a broadcast medium, even if people don't want to watch you, there is a passive engagement with the ad, which gets subconsciously registered because you're sitting 3.5 hours every day to really watch television. 97% of households are still single TV in India. And you're just watching the 3.5 days. If you're consuming, there is going to be some engagement. Whereas in digital, you actively disengage after one viewing. Passive engagement versus active disengagement is a huge thing about how marketers are spending money. So even that intensity is a point. The fourth point I want to really talk about is the quality. It's really which medium I choose for what role that the brand has in the life of customer. And digital has a completely different role than television. In this case, two ones which are number, or print has its own uniqueness there. And no medium is actually trading off with one another. Because the quality of content, the messaging, and the amount of innovation that marketers and television medium has done, whether it's HD content, IPL in 8 languages, user content, different ads running in the same live program, book the pizza while you're watching ad. I think huge amount of innovation that's already happened, which has dramatically enhanced the quality of consumption of advertising on television there. And the last one is cost. I think, just simply say, there was a research which was done, and I was just reading some research I was picking up. There was a research which was done last year by Accenture. This is worldwide, this is not India. And that research really suggested that television is the second highest return on marketing investment after paid search. Yeah. And it was way ahead of the much touted social media. It's 3 or 4 times in terms of return. And if it's in the world where TV numbers are limited, you can understand what would happen with these kind of numbers, yeah, which India has. So I think compared to all the parameters, if you see, and you put whichever metric a marketer has, whether it's an effectiveness, whether it's on efficiency, TV has I think it's a powerhouse. Now, in Raymond, at the same time, just to give you a sense, this is the year which is an inflection year for us, where our digital spend is going to be higher than television. Is it because of lack of belief in television, or is it because we are choosing horses for courses? I think it's the latter. Digital is really going in a very different way to really engage with CRM, with the kind of customer, loyal customers, has a very different role to play. But when it comes to hardcore, at the heart brand building, yeah, it comes to really having salience and consideration, it's always going to be television. So I think as long as marketers can be diligent, rigorous, reflect, recalibrate, reinvest in your media mix, I think television is going to continue to come winner with the kind of numbers you showed and the kind of points. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Pratisha, your take on this.
I guess
Sanjay made some
Sanjay
great points.
pretty much spoke a lot of points. I actually will bring out a couple of things. And before I get into it, I think you started saying TV versus other medium. And I would love to quote what we believe at Z. Hum hi hum hai to kya hum hai. Tum hi tum ho to kya tum ho. Only when we all get together, extraordinary happens. So it's not so much for us about, is it just TV, is it just digital? I think we're here to provide the best solution for the advertisers, and hence provide those solutions, whether it is with TV plus digital, TV plus print, TV plus outdoor. What is it that gives the best solution? I think that's the way TV's actually stayed relevant, been relevant, and is going to grow further. So with that, I actually want to talk about some of the numbers that you spoke about and wanted to add on. And we keep hearing the numbers that come, and somewhere the Goliath is so large that we end up seeing only the parts of the Goliath. And this whole, the first thing that kind of, you spoke about the 66%, and there is much more penetration that's going to happen. And there is a very silent but very strident revolution that's happening. So this was a Census and Credit Suisse report that we were looking at, the Hyper Bharat, and it's literally hyper. It's no longer the growth in the larger towns. It's actually the smaller sensor towns that have grown 3 times over. Okay, so in they are growing, people are not really stepping out, they're staying in their regional spaces, which kind of corroborates back to the kind of growth TV is seeing. We are seeing a huge, huge growth in the regional markets, and that's one of the reasons why Z outperformed the market by 2 times, because those are rich pockets. And to quote Nelson Mandela, you talk to a man in the language he understands, it goes to his head, versus you talk to him in his language, it goes to his heart. And TV is connecting to those hearts day in and day out. I think so that's the first reason why TV kind of provides that connect and the reach. And because the next wave of growth for all sectors and across sectors is going to come from these regional markets, that large-scale reach that TV provides and connecting in that language is invaluable. Yeah? So that's the first one. The second actually is, you've touched upon it a bit and you spoke about it. While we call it passive engagement, there is a level of involvement. Why do I watch for 4 hours? And like South Indians, we watch more. Why am I so engaged and invested in TV? Fundamentally, that medium of I am watching my dreams that never came through there. I'm not seeking. So the whole thing of paying